Hello, this is Nathan, better known as CrazyhermitDM, and this is my podcast, The Hermit's Homebrew. Joining me today is Brent from Lang Mini Studios, and Chase, better known as Kilk, as we talk about Dungeons & Dragons and tabletop gaming. Our last recap episode, we actually finished off with the Hallway of the Undead after the Undead Priestess and her little zombie minions. The first room after the Hallway of the Undead, for you guys, was the Mirage kind of orb room, which led to a lot more interesting roleplay than I expected, just because each of you saw a different thing with this orb. The orb either showed someone what they wanted or desired or something that they kind of feared. I think for Merrick, it showed him that his brother was tied up to a chair in the middle of the room. Mm-hmm. For Ramah, it showed her how she imagined the spark would be, which is this giant sparkling diamond. For Toy Bar, I took inspiration actually from the old 80s cartoon Gummy Bears. If you watch the opening sequence with the magician one, he has this big old tomb.
I forgot about that cartoon until you just now mentioned it. I was like, oh my god, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You basically just saw this giant big tomb that's like the book's as big as a table almost. And then
that's great.
For Tove, it showed Sir Seagull Slayer for people that have played the Avernus books and want to do a quick search while they're listening. It's Slobberchops, the Tressum.
The giant winged cat.
Which
Slobberchops.
Yeah, Tove hates that name so much.
Yeah, she's like, nope, we're renaming that. We're renaming him.
Yeah, it was like nails on a chalkboard every time we accidentally name drop.
Yeah.
So it was like it was actually, to me, one of the funnest rooms, roleplay-wise, throughout the entire, Trials of Odin. Though it kind of fell flat than originally intended, the intention was to show Merrick's brother, because in my mind, Merrick does love his mother and tolerates his father. And I believe that's his mother's the key to keeping his humanity.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Like, if she were to die, if she were to die and not be able to be resurrected, Merrick would be like, I don't care what Surtur says. I don't care what deals were made. That was not made with me, so I don't have to honor it. Whoever is responsible is either going to die, or you will have to make sure Merrick stays dead to stop him.
I think I went a little bit deeper in my thought of, instead of just following the simple kiss thing of keep it simple,
keep it simple, stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe that, in my mind, the brother would provoke more of an emotional response, just because at the same time, his brother was the one who went through all the same issues as Merrick. They're both city guards, even though it's different sections of the city. They both put up with, their dad.
Yeah.
Or the on and off marriage that was kind of been hinted at, or being dual heritage and all this sort of stuff, and kind of just growing up along that lines. I'm sure racism is a horrible thing, but I'm sure even in your fantasy world, if you don't want to address it or don't have it, I'm sure in some sort of way it happens.
And that's the kind of the interesting thing about it is, as much as people actively try to not have it be there, sometimes it is there, just because, especially with fantasy, you say elf, people in their mind already know what an elf is. Tall, skinny, light-haired, pointy ears, very, angular features. If you say dwarf, they see 4 foot tall, built like a barrel, huge beards, talk with a Scottish accent. People already have those preconceptions of what these races are, and you think how they're going to act already. So yeah, it is, as much as we don't want it to be there, it is there. And as long as we keep it in check, it's okay, because it's fantasy. It's not real. But yeah, with dual heritage and stuff, especially with some elves, I know some authors have written it to where elves are kind of like standoffish and haughty and have a superior attitude of, I live for thousands of years. You live for maybe 100 if you're lucky. Why do I care about you? Go away. Stuff like that. So yeah, it also would be interesting to see, like, in a mixed heritage city. Yeah. You have elves and, you have all of the races,
a melting
kind
pot,
of intermingle and everything. It would be interesting to see, how that would play out. But yeah, with the brother showing up, it definitely took me, the player, kind of by surprise, because I didn't expect him to be there. Of the family members,
Yeah.
I didn't expect him, because the mother would make sense, because that's why he's here. She's in
Yeah.
Muspelheim. She's in all of that. All of a sudden now, wait, it's his brother. Wait, whoa, he's supposed to be back home doing his job. What's going on here? Why
Yeah.
is he here? So it did kind of like me as a player, and then so I kind of tried to translate that into the character of kind of being taken, off foot or whatever, of not really sure what's going on now.
And then it leads for, even with me who has had like 16 years of game mastering experience with different systems, of you still, I don't consider it a mistake or whatever, but you overthink things, or certain things fall flat than what you expect, even if you're quote unquote an expert. But I do believe it'd be even an interesting role play moment down the line, or even just like an internal thing for Merrick to think about. It's like, this thing was supposed to show me my greatest desire. I thought that was my mother, but it's my brother.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wait, why? Why? Yeah, why him?
Is he
Yeah,
subconsciously? Am I more have a deeper bond with him?
more deeper bond, or an idealization.
Mm-hmm.
To where Merrick, Merrick does, like, as much as he is brutal and more active in his solutions to problems, he also understands that it's not it's not always the best way, and that maybe it's like a little kernel inside of him does understand that he's more angry than he needs to be about certain things, and he lets that anger out, and he lets that anger make the decision rather than logic or any other emotion per se. So maybe looking at his brother, he goes, he's been through the same stuff I have, yet he is still more empathetic. He is still more friendly,
Yeah,
maybe.
social.
Yeah, more social. There you go.
You didn't
Maybe
seem
he's
like
kind of like,
you didn't seem too broken up when the father's like, "We should move your brother up into being a senator," even though you're the older brother.
the way I decided to play Merrick is I put a little bit of my own anger at the world in him. Like, everybody
Yeah,
has like different like ways they view things. Um to where the anger that I feel when things happen the way I don't think they should. Now, yes, as an adult, I have to understand that you don't always get your way, of course. And that just because you think it's the better way doesn't mean it is. You can be wrong. And I've been wrong a number of times in my life of, oh wow, this is what I wanted to do, and that made things worse. So, but that still doesn't stop that emotional reaction of, I say we do it this way, you get overridden, or people say no, you're wrong. You still feel a little bit of that anger. I tried to latch onto that playing Merrick. And so whenever someone gives him pushback or whatever, I try to be like, no, we're doing it this way. That's why Merrick is more interested in compliance rather than justice. Everyone shut up, everyone sit down, do what I tell you to do. We'll figure right and wrong down later. Much, much later.
for Toy Bar Chase, do you think like him seeing that giant book just like off the get go? Do you think he would have just like bought straight into that and rushed over? I cannot remember exactly what the reaction was.
Um, yes. So I actually had Toy Bar, if I played him correctly in that moment, would have just took off.
Which is
Right.
what I expected
Like,
you to do, yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, there's times where I struggle as a player with Toy Bar to try to keep the chaos to a minimum. And it was a little bit of a metagame moment for me because I looked at this thing and I was like, as the player, when you handed me the thing and you're like, this is what you see. And I was like, oh, bam, this is an illusion, right? But it was really cool. It offered a lot of cool roleplay opportunities, and I thought it was a really awesome situation to be in. Now, what it turned out to be, obviously, could have just killed me outright. So I think in that moment, maybe I should have just like rolled a fate dice to see if I went in for it.
If you followed,
But
if you followed the 5th edition rules of it, because I don't think we revealed it even to the audience. Everybody saw this illusion, but underneath was a sphere of annihilation, which by the book, at least, the adventure, the Tomb of Annihilation, if you touch it, just touch it. It does like 5 or 6 D10 force damage. Like
it's insane damage. Yeah,
instantaneous, no save.
yeah, and that could just kill me outright in that moment.
Yeah,
And so, well, like after I looked back on that situation, and during that situation, I was like, man, like I should do this, but if I do that, then it's gonna force my character into being kind of the center of attention in that moment. When I didn't feel like it was my moment as a player. I felt like this was a moment for the group to try to have some cool roleplay type things.
yeah, but you're also part of that group.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But I also subscribe to the idea that chaotic characters can be unfun if it's too often and too much, right?
Well, that could be same for my character being evil. That's why I try to like hold it back a little bit sometimes, because there's been a couple situations to where, Merrick would be like, okay, we're done talking, kill them. And, you gotta pull it back a little bit. So I get where you're coming from.
I'm surprised you haven't done that more often.
Well,
after you did it with the first guy.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of maybe I put Merrick on a leash a little too much, but like the group kind of made a side comment of like, wait, why did Merrick kill that guy? And then you just said,
Ramah asked.
Yeah, Waffle, Conquest Paladin. And I was kind of like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the one that screws everything up by, being the evil edgelord.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say in that moment that you messed anything up, right? Your character reacted exactly how I expected him to. Especially when knowing that you were trying to play him as more of like a Darth Vader type. So when I saw that situation, I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And when she asked that, it was more of me going, well, he's a Conquest Paladin, and he kind of smashes on things.
Yeah.
And it's an authority figure, right? Now, I just thought that was normal. So I wasn't trying to like say it was bad in any way, shape, or form.
No, and I don't think she was either.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I played with Nick's. I played with Xingshi. So, like, I mean, it was normal for Xingshi to just rip people's arms off because they didn't answer his questions after he gave them multiple opportunities.
I would think, as a game master, if either you guys were having problems about just doing actions or feeling that would do that, just be more vocal of what you intend to do. If not, if just like you guys are in negotiation and Merrick's getting tired, just like literally have him say to the group, "Okay, we're done talking. Let's kill him."
Yeah, like
I'm done.
Yeah,
and then
we move this along now.
And then Ramah just interjects or tries to be, Jiminy Cricket.
Right. Let your conscience be your guide. I killed that a long time ago.
Either that, or just have Toy Bar be cartoonish and just like turn into David Spade from Saturday Night Live. No. Touchy.
Oh no. Yes. Oh my God, Toy Bar is David Spade. I need that now.
The unexpected interaction though, that like was that I just like about fell out of my chair, and you guys literally saw it, was between Tove and Merrick. Between you two, you guys get a lot of interaction, obviously, but I don't think there's a lot of interaction in character, even though there is, but there isn't. When Merrick pulled the knife and went towards the crystal and says, "I got him," she freaked out because she's seeing her cat.
Yeah, and then now here's Merrick, the Conquest Paladin, pulling a blade and stalking towards her cat. Yeah.
And then Merrick...
It was funny.
Yeah.
And Merrick hears her say about his own brother, "You will not. He's too cute."
Like, wait, what? What did you just say? Yeah.
In which, if you pay attention from Toy Bar's point of view, Merrick's going towards it with a knife, and then she's saying, "No, that he's too cute," which she's now genderfied a book.
It's like the book is cute. What? Wait, what? Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a way for me to roleplay Toy Bar not doing that, right? Not just full sending.
Yeah, and it's a good way of having people roleplay, staying in character and roleplaying the situation that allows other players or characters to try to identify that it was an illusion, because us as players knew this was an illusion because Nate gave us individual scraps of paper that said what we saw.
Do not share them with the other person.
And so metagaming, we knew we're all seeing something different. This is an illusion. This is probably dangerous, but our characters didn't. So Tove saying stuff like that, or like doubling down and really role playing it, gives the other players and the characters the opportunity to say, "Hey, she said that. That's different than what I'm seeing." And now they have an excuse to roll those saves or to roll those skill checks to try to see through it and move the plot forward.
And then Flint, just like I guess I'm using my own recommendation because I don't have him act so much. I just have him just plop out one-liners.
Yeah.
And that's how I keep him involved. That way he's just not like a back-shadowed NPC. Because he was seeing big-breasted Elvian women sitting on a bed. And then we had...
I mean, hey, who wouldn't fall for that?
Oh, at least any male, possibly.
Well, straight male, yeah.
Yes, straight male. And then Silvera, the...
Even in Warhammer, Gilliman's girlfriend is that, so...
Yeah, true. Bobby G's girl, Yvrain, hell yeah.
And then Silvera, the Capuchin wizard, archmage, saw basically her own old body. So, and then she started freaking out when you started going towards it with a knife.
Oh, yeah, because you were gonna kill it.
Because she's like, wait, you're gonna destroy my body? I want that back.
And that's when she interjects. She's like, "You will not touch my body with that knife."
Which is interesting because, as a side note, we need to figure out how to get Silvera back in her original body, because she said she would marry Merrick if she got back in her original body. I haven't forgotten that. It's like, oh, okay, deal's on the table here. We can figure this out.
Then she turns into Lydia from Skyrim, just that accent.
It's like, told you.
It feels like
just kidding.
Oh God.
That'd be such a Beetlejuice moment where he's all happy and she's just looking so uneasy.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
But for sure, I know Vicky kind of stood back from that room, and just because I think she either second guesses, obviously just being Vicky, and then playing Ramah the same way. But she saw basically the spark, and she didn't know how to react to any of it, especially when everybody just kind of like started taking a step forward and saying the different things they saw.
Yeah, we started reacting what we saw. And so now she's like, okay, well, if they're reacting that way, how do I react? Because they're acting in a way that doesn't respond with what I'm seeing. So yeah, it can be kind of one of those confusing moments of what the is going on.
It was also a really cool moment for her too, because let's say you handed us all of those papers, right? And you're like, you're not allowed to tell anybody what it is. Don't say anything. Like, let's have the role play moment. The paper you were handing her could have been exactly what it was.
Oh, the spark itself?
You know what I mean?
Oh,
like we had no idea what it looked like. So if we're all like, oh my goodness, like this is crazy. Like, well, I see this. And, this whole place was built around allowing the someone from one of the two tribes in to see and to accomplish things themselves. It literally could have been that to her, right? It could have been the spark. And now imagine if you made that the spark and we were all just like, oh, okay, so this thing is just kind of a weird illusion thing. And then you had it running away.
And it was running away from us. Yeah.
This is probably the spark, goddammit. Like,
Yeah.
So it was really cool because you gave her the option. You handed her something that while most players would look at it and go, "Oh, okay, so this is probably an illusion. Everyone got it." There was an opportunity there for you as the DM, if things got turned into really cool, to just be like, "Oh yeah, this was the spark," instead of the annihilating terribleness that it was.
Very well, I could have really gone X Factor. I probably would have. But I also had a number of other rooms I had planned that I didn't want to give up on. The movement, though, among that was because I had it written down. Anytime you guys tried to cast a spell at it, it just moved 1d4 squares on the map.
And it moved towards the caster, right? Or towards the origin of the spell or something.
Yeah, something like that, if I remember right.
Yeah, because I remember having to like move around, or we had to move because it like blocked the door or something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, okay, we need that to get out of the way. So go over here, cast us. Yeah, I'm trying to remember now. Was there a?
Or it went the other way.
It moved towards you if you cast a spell. If you cast a spell, it moved towards you.
Yeah, and so
because it just wanted to touch you, it was attracted to magic.
And then because we had Toy Bar move to like a side of the room.
Yeah, and that was actually the thing, was if the same person cast a spell again in sequence, it doubled the movement.
Yeah, that's right. Because we had Toy Bar go to like a side of the room and cast like Firebolt or something, or someone cast a cantrip. And it moved towards that character. Okay, it's not blocking the door anymore. We can get out.
And then the other thing was, after a minute of just kind of nothing, it reset.
Mm-hmm. Not gonna lie, Merrick or me as a player, I was thinking, okay, if the Orb of Annihilation is here, where's its control amulet? Like, I was like waiting for that to show up. I'm like, okay, we need to find this amulet, because if we can get an Orb of Annihilation or whatever following us around, we got this overseer done. Like, just open the portal and just push it in, pretty much. There, have fun with that.
Yeah, because it's basically just a black hole. It's like a point of anti-magic.
Yeah, it's antimatter, black magic. It's all sorts of all the bad stuff in the world. If anything touches it, it gets destroyed. So, like, yeah, let's just that made the boss fight easy. Just here. But nobody liked my river of lava idea, so
it's been brought up by multiple people away from the table to me. Just like they don't know how to implement it.
It's like, I know exactly how to implement it. We got a whole bunch of furbolgs running around working for Surtur. Let's just dig a trench and then blow
we're gonna Panama Canal it.
Yeah, Panama Canal this thing. We dig a trench to the portal, leave a wall next to that river of lava till the very end. Once the canal is done, blow the wall so that now we have a new branch of the river, and it just goes into the portal. And hey,
my Vaffy backstory lets me move Earth.
Yeah, exactly. And then we just
I can
go
create terrain and move terrain.
Yeah, so you can dig that Panama Canal yourself with magic.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm off doing my own thing right now. We're going to figure something out. You guys wait till I come up.
Oh,
I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still brainstorming, and I've got some cool ideas.
We'll get to that by the end of this series of episodes.
Nice.
But so after you guys kind of got done tinkering with the sphere, you moved past into the hall, moved down through a set of stairs, which was the portcullis, sorry.
Yep.
With two levers on each side, one activated by arcane magic and the other are activated by nature magic, which is supposed to be Asgardian, or maybe it was radiant in nature. One of those two, but it was supposed to represent it required two tribes of magic.
Yeah, the Asgardian magic, so celestial, and then the Aesir and the Vanir. So yes. Aesir, celestial, Vanir, nature.
Yeah.
Because that's when I was me as a player. In my mind, I gave Nate a couple of DM points in my head, because that not only was it lore accurate, but it also allowed a non-arcane spellcaster in our group to help out. We have a druid that helps out, and they can now do something to help solve these puzzles and everything, not in a touchy-feely nature,
Yeah.
kumbaya moment, but of just, no, I command the power of nature, and let's, it helps them do that outside of,
So
friendship.
off that, so what's your guys' opinions on using like puzzles to kind of promote teamwork in like unorthodox ways? For instance, I think Chase mentioned a while back, Toy Bar and Tove talk, but they haven't had like a scene together, so to speak.
Puzzles are interesting because a lot of times people are very visual puzzle solvers, right? Because that's
Yeah.
what we're seeing. The players in the game are seeing some puzzle, right? So we as the players, or I guess your avatars in the game, are seeing a cool puzzle in front of them. So we as players kind of need to see that as well. So it makes me feel like it's a very difficult thing for DMs to pull off effectively.
Unless you have like a prop, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you've built up to it and given information before, right? Like, just like walking up to a door and being like, here's the runes it has on it, or whatever, figure it out. Like, that doesn't engage anything, so
No.
it makes it so the table kind of looks at each other and we're like, what? I guess I press this? Like, there needs to be a reason to the puzzle, I guess, and I feel like it needs to fit where it is. And if you can, as the DM, if you can pull that off, if you can take that puzzle and make it really intuitive so that the group gets into it, you can come up with it. It can generate some really cool interactions between everybody.
Especially like, like the Tove and the Toy Bars, for instance, like the two people that generally don't get to connect. They're there, but they don't get to interact, I guess.
But yeah, I agree with what Chase said, that puzzles need to be relevant, and they need to like they have to have a purpose. Just slapping a puzzle down just because, I've done too many combats or too many role plays, I need to throw a puzzle in. Sometimes it can really stall creativity. It can stall the role play. It can stall the campaign moving forward. So yeah, have it. Make sure it has a purpose of being there, and also have it play to both the player's strengths and weaknesses, to where you play to the strengths so that the players can have ideas based on their characters. Like, oh, my character's a caster, my character's a fighter, whatever. It can play to their strengths so that they can get ideas of how to move forward, but also play to their weaknesses to where it makes them work together. I can do this, but we also need to do this, so you can do that. If it's just a little bit of thought, you can get a lot of really cool interactions by almost forcing the players to work together in a non-combat setting.
Puzzles are just hard. They're hard to pull off in general.
When they're done right, they're amazing. When they're done wrong, they're at best they're an annoyance.
For sure, like you were just mentioning, it's like, don't just slap down a puzzle just because you've had too many combats.
Yeah.
For any game masters that are listening, I would highly recommend actually putting thought into it. Mm-hmm. I recently did get into an online argument with like one person on my page because they were saying that puzzles were lazy.
No. I disagree.
They're for lazy dungeon masters that just want to stall a group. And then I tried to logic reason with them, and of course it just turned out that I think turned into him trolling more than anything. But I do agree with him on one point. They can be lazy if you're just slapping them down, and if you're just like, and it makes no sense. Like if you're putting down a crossword puzzle in the middle of a dungeon.
Okay,
and it's not thematically.
In that situation, yes, that is a very poor implementation of a puzzle. Yeah,
or at least something kind of like in comparison of that, just like something that does not fit whatsoever. Unless you're just like trying to be like Skyrim, where you line up the three images.
Oh, you line up the with the jeweled claws or whatever. You've got the three
eagle, bear, and
moth or dragon or wolf or whatever they were. Also the rotating stones with the levers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, tabletop gamers. Thank you for watching this episode of the Hermit's Homebrew. We come out with new episodes every Wednesday. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends as we continue to level up and grow.